third year of implementing the Advanced Family Planning Smart Approach, a guide to quick wins. And why we repeat it every year, this same approach informs our application. So the application for funds for the project, Faith Plus Family Planning Project, is based on the steps that we are going to go through. So all the time, and also all the time we start the design, we have to go through it. But also the reporting, what we expect here to be hearing today will be aligned to the applications and the AFP Smart Approach. And what does AFP Smart Approach, a quick guide to quick win, aim at? One, to reach the right decision maker. Because there can be many decision makers, but who is the right one? And that's why I told this not programmatic as usual. I might go to Uganda Muslim Supreme Council with all due respect, but maybe I might not see the Mufti, but if I know I see Sheikh, and Sheikh understands the language, he can make a decision but also influence. But also we are going to see that either can be a decision maker or can be a messenger. So you gauge who can take this message and someone listens. Sometimes they are not even the big people we think about. It's some people somewhere. I have a colleague who amazes me. He's one of the junior officers somewhere. He said, you see us here, but some of us, we get things done in this organization. You know, then you pass and you can even say anything. But wherever they are, they make things move in that organization. How they do it? And the attachment they have to the decision makers, in terms of maybe they speak their language or they understand them, or even they could even be connected. Recently, they were aware and were organizing an event, and someone said, if all means have failed, I know a friend to so and so, a particular minister. And we got a minister in 2 hours. 1, 2, to come and preside over function. And we had spent a whole month lobbying and we had failed. So this is what this guide helps us with the right message. So what message are you taking? And how do you package the message at the right time? And this is very, very important for advocacy and budget. What is the situation of family planning in the country? Politically and socially. One, when you go to technically, do people get the services, including information about the services on family planning? And where are we? What is the ones we use like unmet needs? Those who want the services but they cannot access them. What about those who are using the rate of those who believe in the modern contraceptive? So what is the situation like? Politically, what is the language? Now, I always equate landscape assessment to what in programming we call situation analysis. But under this FP Smart Approach and advocacy, we call it landscape assessment. Because those ones are going to give us an issue. Then what is the problem? If it was programming, we said, what is the problem there? Is the problem that the services are there but people cannot access them, or people even don't know? But why are the services not there? You see, we don't have funding. For example, for us, our concern is funding. Why people cannot access information? Because there are no outreaches. There are many people in the community who even don't know that some of these services and how they help them. You know, from the FBO perspective, we talk about healthier families. Healthier families is getting a family that you can manage and provide for very well. So it's not nothing to do with the numbers, but healthier and quality families. Then from that, after we've identified the issues, which in programming we would call problem, we set smart objectives. And then later when they are presenting and they are talking, you realize that actually these are not usual programmatic objectives. Quick win, achievement documentation and monitoring using result cascade and decision tree. But right now we are at quick win achievement. So some of us who have moved faster, today you tell us the quick wins out of the objectives, where are we? and how have we achieved them? Then evidence and impact. And that is now if you move to another level of impact documentation. But this one takes a while. If you've influenced a policy, how long does it take to change the situation? If you develop a family planning district costed implementation plan and you used it to advocate for increased financing, that means that you now look at the priorities. Has the financing influenced demand generation? Has it influenced commodities or services? And once that is done, then that's where we talk about healthier.
Faith communities during the ICFP, we made commitments, 3 commitments, which will guide us in this area of advocacy, looking at continuing to provide support, quality family planning, education, service delivery, and referrals to all communities. We also committed during that ICFP conference to advocate, sensitize, mobilize, and partner with government, traditional, and other religious leaders and stakeholders in enact policies that address lack of access to services due to distance, cost, lack of trained personnel, and security. And finally, we also committed to advocate for religious leaders to address the unique issues that affect our youth in family planning.
Busia is quite a new district on the project. We had Namayingo before, and we've co-opted in Busia for this year. So we're beginning for Busia. We've been able to have 2 meetings with the district leadership. Being able to do the mapping for service providers of FP in Busia district. We've been able to have a meeting with the religious leaders, and were able at the same time to have the technical working group from Busia established. We've also had a meeting, 2 meetings with the Namayingo local government, and we've had a particular meeting with the health committee for Namayingo over allocation of funds on family planning for the district. Then we had begun with the SIP for Namayingo last year, and we are in the final stages reviewing and signing the SIP for Namayingo district. We've discovered that using a fact-based advocacy to influence the duty bearers gives a quick win to health advocacy because it helps to neutralize controversies and leads to agreement. We've also learned that using a rights-based approach to take other people into account and incorporate an understanding of their social and cultural norms helps a lot and brings a lot of action. We've had some challenges, and one of the challenges is community level advocacy has been successfully done. However, we have a gap at the national level. Then 2, a number of pending FP advocacy issues that require national advocacy has been halfway implemented. So we still have a gap with the Ministry of Health to determine the social allocation and individual health facilities.
So as you heard, I was with her in Iganga district in the cow. You have to hold the engagement meeting with the key people in the district for ownership purposes. Because when you talk about a family planning strategic plan, it's the first people have not heard about it. So you need to get the buy-in. And then the DHO is a very critical person because it takes lead when it comes to issues concerning health. And for information, for us, the faith, we do this at the least cost compared to organizations like the UNFPA, which have a lot of funds. And all these also still are within the line with the Local Government Act. This is the COW is the technical person, DHO reports to the COW, and so they do the budgeting. And also we take the opportunity to request the COW to constitute the family planning working group Why do we need a family planning working group? Is that when we are not there, this will be the converted people who will push the DCIP for further implementation. And then there's what we call the situation analysis. That when we do it, you go and check whether there are stock outs, how are the storage facilities. We resource partners like when Uganda went to World Share, RHU, RIGHT, your other organizations, your PIGO, so that you do a source mapping that when you have the discipline in place, who are those who are going to support you, fund the activities within the district or within the discipline. Definitely the information we get is triangulated. The biostatistician plays a critical, senior planner, the cow operation officer, and other people within the district. They are very critical in localizing the DCIP, making it district-based, not a national-based plan. This is a district-based plan. Normally we conduct 3 to 4 days stakeholders meeting, and I know most of us have been doing it for a few days, but the idea will be ample time to engage the district people. And then we need to share, we set the priorities, we set the activities, discuss the resourcing strategy, and then who will do what at the end of the day. And then we present the first plan, the first draft we give it the family planning working group. The challenge we have here is that people don't have time, they don't read these documents. But the idea is you give the first copy to the family planning working group, of which the DHO is part and the CAO, contracting authority, then other key stakeholders, the district. And then we go into the validation meeting. The purpose of validation is really basically to get input, to further refine your document. This morning I've been attending a validation meeting organized by UNFPA. It's really not a firefighting process. Really, you validate what you have versus what we propose to you. And then you invite different stakeholders. It's an opportunity to agree on the draft for ownership and just adjustment where necessary. Because again, we've now been preparing right from the start the engagement process. DHT members, the technical working group, so that by the time now we go to the process of approving and allocating a cost from the council, already you know what has been happening. For like a Margaret, this will really be the ideal process that we need to follow. DHO, and then
Some of it has already been done.
Some of it has already been done, which is very good. And then the second DHT presents IP to the Council for Approval and Budget Commitment. Why we are talking about that this yet is about budget advocacy. It will be good once the DCIP is approved by the Council. We will send in allocated funds. However little it is, that's the beginning of the entire process of budget advocacy. And then the DH and the team can work the annual work plan. The teams were here before talked about, even if it's a small CBO implementing a health program, if they can pick an activity from the DCIP and you're able to document that, that's already a quick win, because you'll never get somebody who will come and take on the entire DCIP to fund it. And then lastly, we talk about the launch of the DCIP. It is important, again, it's about ownership and get people to know that as a district, we are committed to family planning. You can invite implementing partners, members of parliament, FP champions, beneficiaries, then the Ministry of Health family planning programming. What is always involved? We locate the situation on issues of family planning. Look at location of the socio-economic activities, like education affects. If you have high levels of school dropouts, that definitely means that there's high teenage pregnancies, because if the girl first drops out of school, what do you expect? The demographics, district human resources will have impact on contraceptives and family planning uptake. Then the SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and the threats. These we generate them during the consultative meeting. Then you have the investment case. Why do we need to invest in family planning as a district? Then we set priorities. These priorities are derived from the national CIP. We don't change much unless it has changed. It's going to undergo a midterm review. That's when we come up with the new priorities. These are some of the contents, but what have we learned is that we need to let the district take lead. If the DSO takes lead, it will be the best. Like what I've been advising some of my colleagues, that even if it's organized for the consultative meeting, let the DHO organize. For him, you tell him what you want, give him the money, maybe 1 million, and he plans. Because then you started the process of ownership. He feels the thing is in his what? Hands. DHO and couch are central. IPs play facilitative role. This cycle provides an opportunity to work in leaders with the need for family planning in the district.
Our role was to create demand for all issues the program was about with the United Population Fund. But there is that demand that is for family planning. You meet a lot of gatekeepers who do not really understand family planning at that level. What are we going to talk about? They touch on the button and they feel that it is scary. And when I left, I got an opportunity to be supported, to be prepared as a champion of saving the mother. And I entered in class, and I was able to go and see which kind of mother that am I saving. And I had an opportunity to go to 2 hospitals, one in Mukono, another one, a maternity hospital in Kawere. When as religious leaders, we are talking about things to do with maternal health or family planning, the policymakers don't know. They have hearsay. They have not seen. I entered in Kawempe Maternity Hospital from the entry point to where this mother is being cut to get out a baby. And I was asking myself, we are creating demand for what? Because the demand that we created actually has made Kawempe Maternity Hospital filled up. And you realize that I've told a girl of 16 years to go for antenatal services, to deliver in the hospital, but she's delivering herself.
There is an upcoming call for family planning from I've just mentioned it to Jackie here. I have seen what the call is about, and I thought it is very, very important that this group gets to know. One, it is focusing on very much centered on faith-based organizations. And I work with NGOs, and I know how smart organizations are. Big organizations are very good at picking up the smaller ones, okay? And then they write very nice proposals, but your benefit is small. So what I wanted to encourage this group is to the religious institutions. When I was being consulted on this, I appreciate very much the Interreligious Council and its structure. But I felt, in my opinion, for this particular case, it was not adequate. So I said, I know for sure that, for example, we have the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council Medical Association, we have the Catholic Medical Bureau, we have the Protestant Medical Bureau. The reason I mentioned that, these are service providers, am I right, on family planning. And this call is about service delivery. And a number of them are reaching out almost countrywide. And this call is likely to go countrywide. So my point was, is it possible for these groups to come out very strongly with very clear action points or programs? Besides the service delivery, everyone in this country knows we are not doing well when it comes to demand generation. The best people to do demand generation, and here I don't come from, I've failed to identify with the health sector, unfortunately. I identify more with the water and sanitation sector. So when I take my lenses of someone coming from outside health, and we are talking about family planning, I believe that people who are closest to our families, in terms of believing, are the religious leaders. And for me, I was thinking that when you talk about demand creation, and you are saying you want to take the approach where the religious leaders are taking lead in creating demand for family planning services in their locations.
I would like to welcome all the faith-based organization representatives, particularly the religious leaders and the technical persons from the FBOs representing Mitiana Diocese, Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, Western Uganda FBO Network, Friends of Christ Revival Ministries, and Ngombe Health Project to this important review meeting to take stock of the project progress after 5 months of implementation. We are indeed looking forward to the feedback of how we have influenced 8 districts: Mitiana, Mubende, Kagadi, Kyenjojo, Kabarole, Iganga, Namayingo, and Busia to allocate and increase family planning budgets. We appreciate the support offered to the above districts to develop family planning costed implementation, and that family planning priorities are allocated resources and implemented. In Uganda, with growing population of 3.3% annually and population growth standing at 38 million, of 70% of the population, which is young people aged below 30 years, and 60% of those who are unemployed. There is need to harness demographic dividend to ensure that the available resources are not constrained, especially education, health, for socio-economic transformation. We appreciate Faith for Family Health Initiative technical support, including training in advanced family planning approach quick wins. We have just listened to it. And training religious leaders as family planning champions. Also, our appreciations goes to Population Action International for the financial support that enabled faith-based organizations to complement the efforts of the Uganda government to achieve family planning 2020 commitments. We, the religious leaders, pledge commitment to support Faith for Family Health Initiative and for FBOs implementing faith plus family planning to achieve the objectives. We call upon the government of Uganda to allocate more funds to family planning because it is a worth investment for socio-economic development. We embrace the interfaith approach and strong collaboration with civil society organizations, with the leadership of Uganda Family Planning Consortium to accelerate family planning budget advocacy in Uganda for quality and healthier population. I wish all of you a productive review meeting, and I'm sure the lesson learned and shared experience will inform the remaining period of the project phase. I wish also to congratulate all of you for remaining constant and committed to this voluntary activity. It is indeed voluntary, but a worthy effort that we declare ourselves to serve for humanity. You know, as we go on, always there are extra challenges coming from board. There are crucial issues actually that continue to come on board regarding the population matters. So we need to work hard. And I think last time we agreed we form a group, whatever, so that we are able to continually interact and exchange experiences. And that's really very crucial. Because in the world of today, unless you have that kind of work, you'll never be anywhere. We thank Jackie for the effort she's doing actually. She's doing a lot, and we pray that whatever she said here will actually be realized. And we are sure that because of her commitment, things will happen with the help of God.
80% of the population of Uganda is answerable to me. And then, by the way, we are the pioneers of family planning. I'm one of the pioneers of family planning in Uganda. And I thank Jackie for having introduced to me some people somewhere. And I really did my part. When, for instance, I can talk about my organization. The other time it was called the Gobe. It was a very small thing like this. But now, we said, well, when I reached that seat, whenever we talk of Gombe, they would think it is something small like this. Then I went back and said, talked to my people. By the way, she's my private secretary. I said, please, you better grow. Otherwise, if you remain in Gombe, you will never get anything. And that's how we came to a bigger organization. I really thank you for the work you have done. Thank you really very much. By the way, I'm also growing very somehow. I'm being elevated. One time I will reach somewhere. Why do I say that? Just recently, I was called by the All Africa Council of Churches to want to talk about issues of gender and family planning. Then from there, you have heard of UN Women. Yes, I went and sat there. I was with them and I sat and I talked. But you know, when you talk, there you have to be sensitive. Yeah, seriously speaking, you have to be sensitive. As I was talking, I was with the Ongeng. You know, the PS of the Anglican Church. The new one. You don't know him? He's called Ongeng. I was also with some members from ACT. By the way, I'm the chairman of ACT Alliance also in Uganda. ACT Alliance, Action of Churches Together. I'm the chairman.
How do we can?
We shall talk. Then we went and met those women, UN women, and they said, well, go back and choose among yourselves somebody who will be talking, a man who will be talking about gender in our what? In UN. So I'm trying to push myself there so that I can do what? So that I can talk and something can be brought back here in Africa. Women are suffering. Do you know how many children they are with in the camps? I was in one of the camps. I had to line up for a toilet. You see such a kind of situation. For how long should we be in that kind of situation? You see. When someone comes and says, please, God said, produce as many as you can, you say, okay. That is the God of that time. Eh? No. Let us be serious. look at the land we have. How many of you really have 3 acres of land at home? That these are mine, they were given to me by my father, and then what have you added to them? You can't regulate this, we are producing every weekend, but you manage not to produce it.